Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones is directed by George Lucas and stars Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor and Christopher Lee. This movie takes place 10 years after the extremely disappointing Phantom Menace, and after fans were left wanting to hang themselves after that movie, we were thrusted upon with Attack of the Clones, which is in my opinion the worst Star Wars movie of them all. I mean, if we all thought Phantom Menace was bad, we haven't even seen Attack of the Clones. I mean, it is just a mishmash of all these different weird ideas that shouldn't really fit in the Star Wars movies, but they threw them together anyway for the sake of a movie that you could definitely miss. Hayden Christensen plays Anakin Skywalker in this, and he is horrendous. I mean, it is just awful. He cannot act to save his life, and it's not even like he improved over time. I mean, I will admit, in episode 3 he is slightly better, but even if you look at him in films now, he's still terrible, and it's not helped by the terrible writing and terrible dialogue he was given to work with, and he just comes across as being creepy, strange, and a bit of a paedophile when it comes to Padme Amidala. Speaking of Padme, she is also in this movie, played by Natalie Portman once again, and she is also not very good in this. Now, she is better than Hayden Christensen by quite a significant amount, but her writing was also terrible, and the two of them together is honestly the stuff of hell. I mean, their writing and their love dialogue is the most cringy, annoying, sickening dialogue you will ever hear in a film. It took me enough to get over this film.
Annie? My goodness, you've grown.
So have you. Grown more beautiful, I mean. Well, for a senator, I mean.
We live in a real world. Come back to it. You're studying to become a Jedi. I'm a senator. If you follow your thoughts through to conclusion, it'll take us to a place we cannot go.
You said it yourself.
Please don't look at me like that.
Why not?
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Sorry, milady. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Not like here. Here everything is soft and smooth.
Now, the acting legend who is no longer with us, who is of course Christopher Lee, played I would say the main villain of episode 2, which is Count Dooku. Now, I have mixed feelings on Count Dooku. In this film, I quite liked him, actually. I thought he was a pretty good antagonist. However, in other versions of the character, whether he was in the Clone Wars and things, I've always been a bit off with Dooku. He was never really my favourite character in Star Wars, but he's fine in this movie. He's perfectly serviceable as a villain, and I do quite like him towards the end of the movie when he's doing some fighting with Jedi. He's pretty cool. We do get a really awesome look at the planet known as Kamino, which is the planet where all the clones are made, and this was something I wanted to see for a while. This is really cool. This is where all the clones are produced and made and created, and we get to see all the weird planets. It's basically a planet that just never stops raining, and it's really cool. It's basically a big factory planet facility, and it's also where we get to see Jango Fett and Boba Fett. Boba Fett as a kid, which showing him as a kid was a bad decision, but seeing Jango Fett was pretty cool, I suppose. Now, the end fight on Geonosis was awesome. We see all the Jedi just together, standing in a circle with their lightsabers ignited, getting ready to fight a ton of droids, and it was a great scene. It's awesome. All these Jedi with all these lightsabers everywhere, and of course we have the amazing battle sequence, and Geonosis was a pretty cool planet, and seeing all this coming together was actually a really good way to almost end off the film. And we can't not talk about Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu and his lovely purple lightsaber, which he had because, well, he just wanted one.
You think maybe I can get a purple lightsaber? He's like, lightsabers are green or lightsabers are red. And I'm like, yeah, but I want a purple one. You know, I'm like the second baddest Jedi in the universe next to Yoda. He said, let me think about it. And when I came back to do reshoots, he said, I'm gonna show you something. It's already causing a shitstorm online. Yeah. And he had the purple lightsaber, and I was like, yeah! Oh!
Now, this fight goes on, however, into a little cave where we see Anakin and Obi-Wan fight Count Dooku, and this fight was not well done. It was just really weird. It was really strangely executed, where you just have these actors just with all these lights going around their face, and it didn't quite seem like they were actually fighting, like they were just swinging these light sticks in front of their faces. Really oddly done. And then Yoda comes in and fights Dooku, and Yoda with a lightsaber just doesn't work in my head. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the final fight scene here, kind of a letdown. On the whole, Episode 2 is not a good movie. It is easily the worst Star Wars movie, and this is mostly just down to the love story between Anakin and Padme, and I know I didn't focus on it too much in this review, but that is the central plot line of this movie, and because the writing is so bad, and the acting with Hayden Christensen and Padme, Natalie Portman, was not very good, and because they have no chemistry whatsoever, it comes across as so cringy, and you just want to stop watching the film. Definitely the worst of the franchise, in my opinion. I give Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones a D-.